Good day to you. Oh, never doing that again. But welcome. Welcome to all you humans living in the lockdown life. This is episode 1. And it's I would say it's the introduction. It's my first podcast. And if you're anything like me, occasionally trying to think of something creative like this, or thinking about what you should eat next, or how many times you've walked around the house, then I'll try and take your mind off it to the shed for a bit. And today it's my birthday. I am 31. Fuck knows when that happened, but it has. And here I am, doing my very first podcast in a shed in North London with, if you heard them, seagulls. Don't know where they come from, always been here. So this is the first podcast, so bear with me, as I'm new out here. And if you hear some heavy breathing or, just other noises, I'm not quite equipped yet. And I did want to start this show with a guest, and I've got the lights and the cameras. It's all ready to go, but the world has gone to shite. So it's just me with a laptop and a mic. And as I'm 31 today, I thought, let's talk about age and how the fuck I got here. It's nice to look back at the ages you've been in the past. And what I mean by that is you can only now look back and appreciate them as the age they was before in your head, in the memories that you have. And I think if I had a choice, I'm not sure I would pick any age from before now, because I know a fair bit now, a lot more than I did when I was 20, and it's scary. But I do from time to time have a thing with age, or a questioning of it. What am I meant to be doing at this age? Am I doing what I'm meant to be doing? And then it's usually followed within seconds by another answer, which is none of it fucking matters. As long as you're breathing, walking, talking and thinking. And the riddle with this could continue, but I thought I'd start with a little bit of a deep convo, but don't worry us about it. I'm not going to go full fucking philosophy on the first episode. I'm not quite, I'm not quite there yet. Nowhere near there yet. And for the first couple of minutes, you must have thought, oh, Ryan's fucking lost it. But I haven't. I might just be getting old. But I think age and life, to me, are sort of the same thing. And they grow and transform in layers. And here, I did look into like other podcasts and saw they have, little ding ding sounds or little music moments, and I wanted movie clips, but then I started looking into that and copyright laws and how much you got to pay, and I just think, for the first one, I just don't quite have the budget. So instead, I'm going to quote from the words of Eddie Temple, also known as Sir Michael Gambon, from the film Layer Cake. So have a listen. You're a bright young man. This monkey business is in your blood. Under your skin, you're not getting out, you're just getting in. You're only getting started. I have every faith in you, and one day, in the future, it'll be you sitting here in my place telling some young Turk the facts of life. And they are, Mr. Temple. You're born, you take shit. You get out in the world, you take more shit. You climb a little higher, you take less shit. Till one day, you're up in the rarefield atmosphere, and you've forgotten what shit even looks like. welcome to the layer cake, son. I think I've got my shit together, at least for now. But so much happens in the space I call my lifetime, and we can use the number of age within the time to set as kind of markers to where we were or what we were doing back then to get to where we are now, or what we fucking regretted at that age or the mistakes we made. And for me, it does feel like an upward climb through the layers of knowing what it is you need to do to grow even more and eventually die. And from a young age, I've always had a feeling of being separate to my age. How some might say you're young for your age or you're old for your age. I mean, for me, you are at the age that you are, but someone's always comparing. And I think I'm young for my age. I don't think I'm married with kids, living in a house. I'm still on this path to this war path with creativity and what I want to do still. And I think you can do that forever if that's the way your mind thinks. But being 31, I feel no fucking different to yesterday. Maybe a little tired or extremely isolated. But I sure don't know how 31 feels, because I can't ask 31 how 31 does feel. If you know what I mean. I feel how I feel. I'm not attached to that number. It's just a way of calculating how long you've been here. I just feel like you shouldn't class it as where you should be or where you shouldn't. Shit just happens. And don't get me wrong, I don't think everyone does it forever thinking like that, but we all have from time to time about age. So that's what I fucking think about age. Near enough. So why the shed? Well, simply because I'm in a fucking shed. And I thought, just call it what it is, in the shed with Ryan. I'm starting this very podcast. Not sure who the fuck will actually listen, but if you are, cheers, mate. And in these times, starting it from a shed seems like the right thing to do. The shed, which has been forever evolving from the age of its birth, around 4 to 5 years ago, where I decided I had enough of being told what to do by estate agents. Yes, I was an estate agent. Nothing against it, but definitely if I had the choice to look back at that age, I wouldn't be going there. So, plus, I had an unfortunate mishap with 3 little piggies who happened to pull me over while I was not in the best shape to drive, shall we say. And I was in a fabulous white BMW supplied by Hart Estate Agents for the job, which I didn't like at all, because deep down I was and am a creative. But that happened, and you know, we all make mistakes. The idea is to learn from them and in turn build on them in a positive manner, which I decided to do. And through the winter of, I think it was 2013, I built this little house / shed I now work from, which in the age of COVID couldn't be a sweeter deal. And as you may have seen, I've got quite the setup for myself. Even got grass floor, make it feel like nature, you know what I mean? And I just want it cozy, you know, so that we can have some sort of meaningful conversations about where we are now or what we're currently doing with this time we have been given, or how many fucking shrooms should we take. I'm not putting this podcast in a box. It's in a shed, but I'm not putting it into any topic bracket. I want it an open source. You know, anyone can come on, anyone can have a conversation, anyone can learn, and we can learn from each other. And, you know, down the line, I'll probably say something fucking stupid, and I'll make the mistakes just like anyone else, and so will the podcast or the shed. And then one day, you know, I'll look back and remember 31 was the age that I started this fucking show. From the very first lockdown, really, I started planning this. Sitting here, though, I'm thinking, fucking hell, waffling. And how many times do I say fuck? But I think it's just got to be real, really. And I thought waffle was something I did when I was drunk, but I think I'm actually half decent at it if you're still with me. So back to the shed. And once it was built, it was like this centre of attention for Dirty Rich, which, if you are some random listener, who I greatly welcome, by the way, because fuck knows how you got here, if you did. It was this place where, you know, I spent months on YouTube looking at a guy with the weirdest bob cut hairstyle and sweatbands on his wrist talk for hours and hours on how to screen print. And I turned into this guy, echoing the same noise he did to anyone who would put up with standing in a shed printing thousands of t-shirts and hoods for festivals in the UK, which saw sun on limited periods, with ketheads wanting to exchange a £20 bag of your finest sandblasted Stardog for a t-shirt, or if they were seriously fucking waved, they would try for a hoodie, and they would all get the same fucking answer: fuck right off. And that's what it was, a mini factory for making my business what it is today, with help from others. You know who you are. But now someone else prints the clothes, so I don't have to. And I'm using the space for a new journey for the next 2 years. But I'm not going to go full hippie, but I do feel the energy of the shed. It's a good, vibrant energy of bouncing off the wall conversations with many of my friends who have been here over the time from which it was built to the very day we're in now. You know, I've had conversations with my dad, and yes, I'm going to do a podcast with my dad. It will be funny. But I'm just taking my time with that one. But the energy in the shed's good, and I want to keep it that way. I want to keep different people, different ideas, different things coming through there, because a space is important, and how you feel in that space is important. And I hope for the next 2 years, with the Zen decor I've given it and the grass floor, just so you feel some sort of, you know, attachment or connection, I'll say, to nature, make you feel right at home. It will have many more vibrant times. As 2 years is as long as this product is, or project is, going to go on for, until my future landlord flattens the shed to nothing but dust. But that's another story. But the show will continue if I have more than 10 listeners. And a name change like The Hostel with Ryan, or In Peru with Ryan, Ayahuasca, episode 3. Who knows? But it's all fucking exciting. And at 31, not that I mark that age as anything, but it feels like this is the fucking time to do it. Everyone's creating something these days. With these platforms, you can advertise yourself 24/7 and dance in the middle of the street and get run over by a car. And it feels like, you know, this is the time I should fucking get up and do something and talk, because I like talking, if you haven't noticed. And sometimes when I'm working out, I listen to speeches or talks, and Arnold the Terminator he does one and he says, "Do your work and advertise." I'm not good at a German accent, but I think there's a good point to that. You know, you can do loads of art or loads of painting, but if no one sees it, does it really matter? But we're getting to the end now. So if you made it this far, cheers. I mean, if you got this far, I do rate you. And I hope whatever you're doing well. And you're doing well in that mind of yours. And if you just skipped to this end part here and then told me you liked it, then cheers, mate. So I won't be listening to this because that's weird as fuck. I might have a little listen once, and it's enough waffling. So I'll let the dust settle anyways. Peace and happy fucking birthday to me.